These are the stories
There is a foundation out there that helps you get back into it.
of organizations making a difference
What really limits our ability to do something is people's imagination.
and empowering others across Canada.
When I get into that sledge, I'm free, man. I'm playing hockey.
It's a great organization and it's worth supporting.
In our community. Like many other BC cities and towns, Kelowna has a long tradition of sailing, regattas, and marinas. And with that come organizations like Disabled Sailing Association, that is about getting people on the water to experience freedom, inclusiveness, and the joy of sailing.
My name is Ian Price, and I'm 36 years old. I started sailing about 5 years ago. Hans, who is the gentleman that started the club here, he actually found me downtown and said, "Hi, I'm Hans. Have you ever been sailing?" "No." "Okay, well, this is my phone number, and I would like you to go out on the water in a week or two." So I talked to them, and they threw me in the boat, and I've loved it ever since.
My name is Sherry Lee Parsons. I moved to the Okanagan about 6 years ago, and I discovered Disabled Sailing Association at the Kelowna Yacht Club here, and I wanted to be a part of that organization. So I started my first year volunteering with them, and now I am the Director of Operations taking care of the Disabled Sailing Association of Kelowna.
I have spinal muscular atrophy, which is a form of muscular dystrophy. That means that I am in a wheelchair. I have very limited mobility. I can pretty much only move my thumbs, and I'm on a ventilator for breathing, and I also use a suction machine to help because I can't swallow.
When Ian arrives, it's a rather large ordeal to get his boat set up. It takes, record time was 45 minutes, but it generally takes an hour. The boat is prepared as it can be in that the winches are on and the rod is in to work the rudder.
My name is Tracy Delorme. I am a volunteer with the Disabled Sailing, or as we're calling it now, the Adaptive Sailing program here in Kelowna. Ian Price is one of our sailors. He's been sailing with us for at least 3 years now, and we've been sailing together all that time.
The setup process, once I am on the dock, is preparing the boat and then placing me into a custom-made seat.
Okay, so now I'm going to get ready to transfer you over to your chair. Ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to put you in your chair.
Ian and his father created, we call them sort of magic fingers, where there's 2 wires on his index finger and a wire on his thumb and on both hands, and he can touch them, and that's how he moves the rudder and the sails.
Is that tight enough for now, or would you like it tighter?
Yeah.
Okay, and the wire, I'm just going to kind of coil into your lap. I think you're ready to go into the boat.
Perfect.
Bring the lift over here so we can get you hooked up.
Then Ian is transferred from his wheelchair into a special chair that is lifted into the boat with Ian in it. Once Ian is in the boat, there's a lot of very delicate work to make sure those electrodes are working. So there's duct tape, a lot of duct tape involved.
Like how big? You tell me where.
Probably 8 inches.
There?
That's good.
Just a lot of checking in with Ian, because we also have to take his respirator on the boat and other equipment that ensures he will be fine during the whole sailing experience.
The biggest challenge for Ian when he's sailing is keeping his hands in a position that he can actually move his thumbs freely. As the boat sort of pitches forward and backward and from side to side with waves and just the natural sailing of a boat, you tend to, heel more or less. As the boat is moving around, his hands are moving around. So to try and keep them in position so that he can actually make everything work, that's our biggest challenge. Power going. Ian, you're in charge.
Woohoo! Having control of the boat is definitely a unique experience, and it's really empowering. I think sailing has definitely reduced my anxiety level, and I just feel like a more relaxed person that can appreciate the outdoors. In my life, I'm usually surrounded by so much technology, and it's just really nice to be out on the water and enjoy the sun and the freedom, and yeah, it's just a really unique experience. On the water, I feel like a completely different person, and I feel like I'm escaping from the wheelchair and able to just really be out there and enjoy myself.
One of my favorite stories about Ian, 2 years ago in 2017, Ian and I competed here in Kelowna in the Mobility Cup, which is a race for disabled sailors. And we had one day that was super, super windy, and I was kind of nervous about taking him out again because of the issue with waves making it hard for him to control the boat. But he's like, there's wind, we gotta go. And so we did go, and we did really quite well in the race.
I have raced, yeah. I was in the Mobility Cup in 2017, and I was also in the Commodore's Cup. Commodore's Cup, I actually won first place, and the Mobility Cup, I was dead last every race.
He just wants to participate so much, and it's so infectious. We actually created an award for Ian at Mobility Cup, and it was the Outside the Box Award, because he couldn't use the joystick that we normally have people use, and so he and his dad had to develop a way that he could sail the boat. So thinking outside the box, he did that in spades, and so we created that award, and now every year we try and award it to someone who has also overcome extraordinary challenges to sail.
Every day that you're out on the water is so different. Sometimes it's really windy, other times you're just sitting there bobbing around. But I think for the most part, it's in the Okanagan, we're really lucky to have beautiful weather and just enough wind to pick up the sails.
Our community will return after the break. We now return to our community.
My name is Samuel Peters. I'm 11 years old.
Samuel is an adorable little boy that started sailing with us last year. He is one of our youngest sailors. Samuel doesn't have legs, but sometimes you think he's not aware of that because he's just as active as any little boy you might meet.
Oh good, the boat's ready. I'll get in the boat and then I'll help you in, okay?
Okay.
He does get by in a wheelchair, and then when he gets out of the wheelchair, he's able to get to the boat with the use of his hands. He kind of jumps right in the boat and off he goes.
All right. My name is Stephen Peters, and I'm the dad of Samuel Peters. Samuel is 11 years old, and he is a bilateral above-knee amputee, which means he doesn't have knees or ankles or feet, and so he is typically in a wheelchair or prosthetics. We'll let these loose for now. I'll just let you hold on to the lines, and then when we're ready, we'll tighten them up.
Okay.
We discovered Adaptive Sailing Association through their open house last year, and just sort of wandered in, and Sherry Lee made us feel comfortable and let us know how to become involved. And then they trained me how to sail as well, so I could sail with one of my boys. It's just been great because I never thought I would be sailing the Okanagan Lake, and we just sort of stumbled upon this opportunity, and it's been a fantastic thing for our family. All right, it's all you now.
Okay.
A typical sailing day with Samuel would mean that we come here to the Kelowna Yacht Club, and if it's a windy day, we'll go all the way up north to the lumber mill or the lighthouse, And if there's not a lot of wind, then we'll usually just go to the bridge or across the lake and then come back. So you can't go directly against the wind, but you can sort of go off it to a side. So if you bring in the sail a bit tighter, not the red one.
The red one?
The main one. A little bit tighter, yeah. A little more. Yeah, you feel the pull of the wind on the sail there?
Yeah.
A little bit more. There it is, okay. Now you want to take a little bit more to the left. There you go. And you feel the boat tilting a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've caught some good wind. But as soon as you bring it around, it'll start to ease off because the wind's coming from where you're pointing now. So you want to
go this way?
The right again, yeah.
The way how the boat works is how it turns, I turn the lever. I like about sailing, I get to go fast.
Samuel's biggest challenge in sailing would be a slow day, so there's not a lot of wind. It can be quite relaxing and meditative if you're into that sort of thing, but if you're like Sam and want to go, and feel the freedom of the wind in your hair and all of that, so a slow day is a hard day. I think that would be his worst nightmare, would be a day without any wind.
When there's no wind, it's slow.
Sailing for Sam has been an opportunity for him to learn to control his own direction. So often in a wheelchair, he's confined to very specific routes and he's searching for ramps and ways to get into buildings. But when he's on the sailboat and he's out in the middle of the Okanagan Lake, he can go anywhere. Last season was our first season, and after probably 3 or 4 sessions, he was able to control the boat on his own. And so the first time he did that, I was in another boat halfway across the Okanagan Lake and I could hear him just giggling. He was having so much fun and so excited that he could control this boat and he could go anywhere he wanted, and as long as he could catch a little bit of wind, he was totally free.
Hey Bill, how's it going?
Good. Hi, Sherry Lee. It's going good.
Good. We got some nice wind, so it should be a good sail today.
Good. That's great.
Bill Campbell is the oldest sailor that we have, and I really enjoy going out on the water with Bill.
I'm 73 years old, and I didn't know I was the oldest sailor in the Disabled Sailing Association in Kelowna. That was a surprise to me. Ever since my father read me the Hornblower stories, which was about a sailing captain in the Napoleonic Wars, I was always interested in sailing. And when I saw the boats, the sailing school boats on the dam in Calgary, I decided to take it up. It was a sailing school, so I started to sail then. I then bought my own boats as I got older. I had a couple of what they call fireballs, which were 16-foot scows that sailed really fast.
Bill is a very independent person. He used to sail fireball dinghies. He used to hang out the side in a trapeze, but he's since had some medical issues. Unfortunately, he is in a wheelchair, and one side of his body is paralyzed. So when he comes, we do use the sling and the lift to get him in the boat. All right, so we get a sling on.
Okay.
And Devin will just pull it underneath.
Okay. Don't forget my little pillow.
Yes, I have your pillow.
The harness is a light piece of fabric with six loops on the end that they put under your body and then attached to a lift that lifts the 3 loops on either side, and they lift you out of your chair, put you in the boat, and you're ready to sail.
Okay, I am ready for you. Okay. Got you over the boat comfortably, and we'll just set you down. And once he's settled in the boat, he does have a cushion on his back, so we make him as comfortable as possible. He has his coffee, and off we go. All right, it is good wind out there, so it's going to be a great day.
Good. I joined the Disabled Sailing Association because it was the only way I was going to get on the water. I can't rig or put a boat in the water by myself, so I need someone to do it for me. And when I heard about the Disabled Sailing Association from my wife, it was the ideal thing for me to be able to get on the water in a boat. Otherwise, I couldn't have. living in Kelowna and not being able to use a lake, that would be very, very distressing and depressing. I like being on the water. I'm not particularly interested in racing, but I like being on the water when it's calm, and I like it when it's really windy. I love the sort of the challenge to be able to beat the wind and tack into heavy waves.
No, this is perfect wind. I love it. Not too strong, not too light. It's just nice. And it's not gusty, which is rare on the lake.
Yes. In terms of changes in myself since I've started to sail with Disabled Sailing Association, I just feel better every time I come back from sailing. It's just a good feeling. Whether it's been a quiet day or a windy day, it doesn't make any difference. It's being on the water is the important part.
So what are you reading right now?
A science fiction book, basically. That's one. Some books on bridge. And what else?
Bill just likes to come out for his hour, and him and I have great conversations in the boat. It's not just sailing time for us, it's also social time, and it's just really nice to bring that back for Bill, what he did experience in his youth.
We have very interesting conversations from philosophy, politics, religion, you name it, we talk about everything.
Bill's a big reader, and often he's reading a very deep philosophical book, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about his cat. Bill rides around his wheelchair with a water gun tucked behind him because apparently the cat needs it every now and then.
If you have a good partner that you're sailing with, it's a great time to discuss things. You don't discuss much on windy days because you're struggling to keep the boat up. There's no question that being out there can be very peaceful or very challenging, and if the waves are high and the wind is high, it's a great feeling to be able to deal with and beat it. If it's quiet, it's a great feeling just to relax and enjoy the scenery and the lake and the sun. It's great. Either way, can't lose.
That was nice, hey Bill? The wind was just so perfect.
It was a great sail. It was great. It was great. It was great. There were no motor boats. The wind was good. Couldn't ask for more. I couldn't really ask for a better sail, a better day to sail.
Our community will return after the break. We now return to our community.
My name is Dori Roberts. I'm 52 and I'm here sailing at the Kelowna Yacht Club for the very first time. It's a beautiful day in Kelowna and I'm very excited. My disability is retinitis pigmentosa, RP for short, and it's where I don't have a peripheral vision. And I decided to do this because I've always been wanting to go onto the water but very scared.
Hi, Dori.
Hi,
Hi,
Shirley.
Sherry.
Hi.
It's so nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
You're looking forward to going out today?
Yes, I am, yeah.
Well, welcome
yeah.
to the Disabled Sailing Association.
I'm nervous about sailing. I've never sailed before, so this is the first time. I was always wanted to sail and then afraid that I may fall off, but they reassure me here that there's no need to worry, and I didn't know until just the other day that I actually get to drive the boat. So ironically, I used to be a driving instructor, so I used to teach people how to drive, so now someone's going to teach me how to sail.
We use, generally speaking, Martin 16s, so they're a 16-foot sailboat with a seat in the front for the sailor and the seat in the back for the person who's there to coach, help, or even sail from the back seat. They're perfect little sailboats with a very heavy keel on the bottom of the boat. The bulb on the bottom is so that the boats don't tip over. That makes it very safe for the sailor. We make them adaptable so that everyone can sail. We have a motto, if you breathe, you can sail, and if you can't breathe, then bring your respirator and we'll make it work for you. So have you ever sailed?
No, I've never been in a
Oh my gosh,
sailboat.
This is fabulous. You'll love it. There's just nothing better than being on the water, especially on a day like today.
I discovered about 15 years ago that I had RP. It answered a lot of questions for me. Why I was falling down, bumping into things.
When we have a new member coming, we like to make sure that they're comfortable with the boat. So we show them the boat, we explain to them how it's going to work. Step down into this, you're doing great. Didn't like that so much, eh? It is scary the first time. The boat, when you do step on it, it does rock, and that is unnerving for some people. They're not comfortable with that at all. The yellow and blue sheet is controlling your front sail, your head sail. Once they're sitting down, we'll go over some more things, for example, how the sheets work to move the sails, how the rudder works. But most of the training is done, most of the education is done on the water. Okay, and now I'm going to turn the engine on, and we're going to drive out of here. So you have the stick in front of you there.
So you just steer the direction you want to go?
Yeah, exactly.
So this way?
Perfect.
And we're going over to the right, over that way, or?
Yes.
You're not afraid of hitting any other boats?
No, but honestly, it is completely safe, and we do try and reassure people that the boat will not tip over. We will definitely heel over, but we're never going to capsize. So.
Wow. I've never been on this lake at all.
Really? Oh, this is fantastic.
Yeah, it is very similar to driving a car.
Yes. So what we find with a lot of our sailors that have visual impairments is obviously they hear a lot. So if they hear the sail shaking in the mast, that means they're too close to the wind. So they have to go away from the wind. So in this case, the wind is coming over the left side of the boat, so we would turn to the right to fill the sails up more.
Oh, okay. You would hear these rattle?
It's closer to the mast, which is the tall pole right up front, where the sail joins the mast.
Yeah. The sailing was fantastic. I had a great time here. I'll definitely be back. I want a little bit more wind next time, so this was good. Today was a nice and calm day. So next time, a little more adventure, baby steps.
Hey Bill, how's it going?
Good.
Good to see you.
Good day for a sail today?
It's a beautiful day for a sail. It's nice to see you out. Bill Ma is one of our blind sailors. He's been sailing with us for about 3 seasons now. He is a gregarious individual and full of character, so just sailing with Bill is a true enjoyment. So you must be anxious to get out sailing, eh?
Yes.
It's been a whole winter.
Yeah, a little bit of rust, but I'm sure I'll get rid of that pretty quick.
There's a chair for you right there.
Awesome. I am totally blind. I have no vision. There's certainly challenges. Occasionally orientation is an issue in terms of finding where things are. But for the most part, I believed I've overcome most of those challenges.
All right, let's get you a life jacket.
And I'll need the extra large. Nothing has changed in that department. I'm ashamed to admit that.
Yeah, no.
I got invited to participate with the sailing program through a friend of mine who kept on hassling me at curling during the winter of 2014, 2015 to come out and sail. And finally I figured I might as well give it a shot. So loved it ever since.
Okay, shall we head over to the boat? Take my arm.
Okay.
Excellent.
I always like to boast about the fact that the lake is one of the jewels of this city, and to have the opportunity to get out when you can is certainly something that I enjoy and very much value. There we go.
Okay, so I'll just give you the sheets. The fatter one is the sheet that's going to control the main sail, the bigger sail.
Okay. And it's not cleated yet?
No, if you put it in there, that'd be perfect. And this little skinnier, harder one is for the main sail, the jib.
Okay, so is that far enough out? Do we want it more?
Yeah, that actually looks perfect.
Okay, so we got them both cleated then.
That's great.
How's that?
There, that's perfect. I will get on board.
A lot of it out on the lake and how it happens for me is audible instructions, turning the rudder left or right, pulling on the jib or the mainsail. So it's very much the person in the back providing me with audible cues of what I need to do.
Okay, I'm just going to undo our stern line and turn the engine on.
Okay.
And you're driving. We're good to go.
Do you want me to? Okay.
You're doing great.
Okay.
So,
not yet.
We're going to straighten it out right about now.
How's that?
That is perfect.
Okay.
With some of our sailors, when we're out there, if they're able to see, there's a lot of pointing going on, there's a lot of over there going on. And when you're sailing with a person who has vision issues, it's much more important to describe what's going on around you, to ask them to feel the wind, to listen to the sails when they're luffing or when they're full of wind. What does that sound like? Feel the boat when it's leaning over. Like, if that feels how it should be, then you know the sails must be set perfectly. But there is a slight wind coming from the south, so we're going to turn a bit to the right.
Okay, hard right, all right.
And that is good right there, perfect. And that we're now on a beam reach, so the wind is coming over this side.
So you want to try to capture some of the wind in the sails? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, it's beautiful. We are trying to do that.
Yeah.
It's very little
Not
wind.
a lot. Mother Nature's not cooperating, Shirley. To understand how the wind is very much a sensational thing. You can feel the wind on your face. You can feel if it's at your back. And I don't necessarily know the direction of where the wind is, except that we're either facing into the wind by the way the wind blows in my face, or if it's to the back, it comes in on the back. There's lots of therapeutic value in terms of just being out on the water and just not having the noise around you. So I guess it's a bit of a moment of time out that you can kind of refresh the soul and just get re-energized to being out on the water. I would say, you know, if you're thinking about coming out, come out and try it. You have nothing to lose, and I would hazard the guess that you will find that you will have just as good a time as I've had being a part of the adaptive sailing program.
The most amazing thing is how it is an equalizer. These people can all sail. They all have the ability to sail, whether they have a companion sailor sailing for them or whether they're sailing themselves. They have that opportunity to be out on the water and appreciate it and enjoy it just like everybody else can. It's just an incredible thing to see, an incredible thing to experience. It's just beautiful.
Director Cinematographer Yuri Bakala. Producer Location Sound Lucy Bakala. Editor Yuri Bakala. Color Grading Stephen Anturi. Original Music Stu Goldberg. Production Assistant Sarah Kushnerik. Photography courtesy of City of Calgary, Glenmore Sailing Club, Alan Milnes, Johan van Leaning. Special thanks to the Kelowna Yacht Club, Andy Parsons, Devin Arujo, Holly Adams. Integrated Described Video Specialist M. Williams. Regional Content Specialist Sylvie Fiquette. Coordinating Producer Jennifer Johnson. Director Production Karen Nye. Director Programming Brian Perdue. VP Programming and Production John Melville. President and CEO David Arrington. Copyright 2019 Accessible Media Inc.